Welcome to Intimacy Evolution with Brianna and Mark Carey, where they discuss desire, intimacy, and how to embrace the changes within your relationship. Brianna has been a sexual health educator for 14 years and is currently working as a relationship and intimacy coach. Mark is a licensed professional counselor and has been running his own private practice for 6 years. Together, they have 2 young kids and have dealt with the many ebbs and flows during their 15 years together. Intimacy evolves over time, and that's okay. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to another episode of Intimacy Evolution. We have a fun one for you today.
Yes, we do. All about connecting sexually.
Okay, just jumping right in with it. Thought we were going to do a little foreplay.
Sometimes, but you know, I am a sexual, so that sometimes is lacking.
Yeah, we we had a fun adult weekend with some friends. We got to go to the Ozarks. Our friends have a condo down there, and we haven't been down there for a few years. And so it was 4 couples that were down there this weekend, and we went to like a boating, like a tie up with
Towboat tie up. Mostly ski, wakeboard boats.
Yeah. So we just got to hang out with a bunch of people and have a good time. And, you know, one thing that's really nice about being together, especially with this group of friends, is the deep conversations that we have. You know, I love that we're just so connected, and we got to talk about some
I think what she's saying is we got to talk about sex.
Yeah, you know, it's always nice when you can talk about it and it's not weird.
Yeah, we also talked about a lot of other things. Some of it was pretty crunchy.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my goodness.
Trying to share some of our experiences with them, especially, you know, a lot of them know I'm transitioning into this coaching realm, and they're asking about it. And they'd been hearing little bits and pieces about us going on this couples retreat in April. And there's a lot of stuff that pushed some edges for people, and trying to explain how it was connecting and not sexual. But anyways, yeah, that's another topic for
deep
another
connection,
time.
Intimate connection with our partners and the people we were there with, but not anything to do with, you know, sexually connecting with anyone.
Yeah. But it's just always fun to, you know, have conversations and push some edges, and you can definitely see some thought process happening.
Oh yeah, there was some thinking, there was some constricting, closing up, there was some openness.
And
you know, there's
we
all
love every single one of you, and appreciate you all for having that conversation with us and being open to hearing about it. So I know that we were sitting around at the table and everybody was literally saying, "You have a podcast? We need to follow you."
Yes.
So that was very heartwarming, and just grateful to every one of them for accepting us in this journey of our life. You know, so yeah. So one of the things that came up quite a bit was this erotic blueprint. And I know we teased this on our last episode. And I think it's just the perfect time to start diving into it. And there's only so much we can cover. We'll go into it further, but where would you like to start?
Well, I want to say one other thing. I think we'll probably talk about the couples retreat on here, just a different podcast, and kind of go through that. So I just wanted to set a teaser out for that for the future.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I kind of made the outline today for our podcast, and where I kind of started was our kind of history, where we're at, and how we ran into the introduction for us to the Erotic Blueprint. And so what was that, several months ago?
Yeah, December.
Yeah, more than that. Time flies. We were Bria just started her program for sex coaching, or signed up for it?
I just signed up for it. And I had been following them on all of their social media and emails and podcasts and all this stuff,
Yeah.
And Bryn had mentioned the show on Netflix, Sex, Love, Goop. And I'm like, okay, I'm always very curious to look into any show that talks about sex and couples and people and stuff and all that. And so we decided to check it out. And they had several couples in this group. If you haven't watched it, go watch it on Netflix. It's amazing. It's with Gwyneth Paltrow, and she brings in a bunch of different sex specialists. And one is Jaiya, who came up with this concept of the Erotic Blueprint.
Yeah. And so if you guys are familiar with love languages, there's kind of a quiz, but it's essentially how people connect, how they show love. And if you're on the same page, you speak the same language, wonderful. That's highly unlikely. You usually have like a primary, a secondary, and there's some overlap. But really, to express love, you have to speak each other's language. And if you're not familiar with that, go look that up. Free quiz, all that type of stuff.
We'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah, there we go. And so, very similar in some ways, but really focused on more intimate connecting and sexuality, and how to connect that way.
Mm-hmm. So this just kind of opened up a whole new conversation for us. And we're just like mind blown, because this can help alleviate a lot of stress for a lot of relationships.
Yeah, and it can deepen the conversation too, about sex. And it's always if there's a mismatch in who wants sex and who more than the other person, it's like, how can we bridge that gap? And this is, I think, a good tool to kind of bridge that gap.
Yes.
And I think that it also provides a language, like a shared language, so you can talk about the same thing in the same way, and it's just better communication that way.
Yeah, for sure. So, and there is a quiz for this one as well. Again, we'll link that in the show notes so you can check it out. So let's just kind of chat about those real quick. So there's 5 of them?
Yes, there's 5 of them. And, the Erotic Blueprint kind of maps arousal and like kind of the easiest path to get aroused and that type of thing. So, you want me just to go through them? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the energetic type. And we'll talk about these, like actually define them. I'm just going to kind of run through the 5 and then go from there. Then there's the sensual type, the sexual type, kinky, and then a shapeshifter. Where do you want to start?
Let's just start with the energetic.
Okay, why don't you take that one?
Okay. So energetic is someone that really craves the anticipation, the they don't even need touch, really. It is literally like just hands hovering over the body and just kind of feeling the connection between the bodies without actually crossing into the physical. So just that anticipation and that teasing, wanting, craving. Whereas the sensual really likes the touch and the use of their senses. Somebody that might need to have the right lighting, the right sounds, maybe somebody that's always like trying to figure out the right sheets that you like. You're very particular about the sheets on your bed and how they feel on your skin. Smells, you can literally just incorporate the 5 senses with this one.
Definitely.
And then talk about the sexual.
Well, I want to say one more thing about the sensual.
Okay.
There is a deep need to relax before they can become sexual. The sensual, it's grounding. Senses are grounding. They get you out of your head. They get you in your body.
Yeah.
And so that's necessary.
Are you guys finding a common theme already in our 2 episodes about being in your body?
Yes. And so sexual, it's the stereotypical penis, vagina,
or
or whatever, penetration, everything, genitalias, let's say, sexual acts, that type of thing, just straight, the ready to go. And this is often, portrayed in movies and books and everything else, and it kind of captures, if you listen to last episode, spontaneous sex is usually portrayed between two people that are sexual type. They just get naked and go at it type of thing.
Yep.
And so that's pretty good descriptor of sexual.
Go into that next part though.
Which one's that?
Oh,
yes. So sexuals, how they view or how they move through life, they crave and need sex as if it's like oxygen. It's a necessary thing to live.
Now, as a therapist, I want you to just talk about how that differentiates from being a sex addict, because I don't want people to think it's like that in a sense. Like, it's more so, and I think when we were at the retreat, Casey said it's just they need the acknowledgement. Is it a yes or a no? And then I can move on.
Yeah.
I want to connect with you in this way. Is that going to happen? Okay, then let's move on. I'm not going to feel that like constant quenching of the thirst or something. You're not going to feel thirsty all the time, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, sexuals are thirsty often, but that's a different.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying.
I think a good scenario is to talk about how energetics and sexuals play together or don't play very well together sometimes. Energetics, they have to feel like the energy's right to engage in sex. And so they're often the person that says, if a sexual approaches them and says, hey, you want to maybe have sex later tonight? The energetic's like, maybe. And they're like, maybe. Depends how my energy feels. Depends how I feel in the moment. Depends on all these other things. And the sexual, myself, is driven nuts by that because I just want to know.
Yeah.
Yes or no. I'm on a more definite answer. Because then I might, take matters in my own hand or whatever the situation might be, if I so want to do that. But so back to the other question about sex addiction, and that's a hard one. And we're going to bump up against some lines that my colleagues might agree with, disagree with. There's a lot of people all over the place with it. And there is some research and some belief that sex addiction per se, is actually, a lot of those people are sexual types that are craving and deprived of sex. And so their behavior looks, excessive or irrational or like an addiction when it might not be. Yeah. They might just not be, their needs aren't getting met. And then, I have to recognize as a therapist, because I'm in the profession, there is a lot of disagreement on sex addiction, if it's a term we should use or if it's really a thing, because it's not defined in the DSM and a number of other things. And, it has this connotation, and then there's just a lot of disagreement about it. And so it's really a tough topic, but
we might be able to expand on that in the future.
Yeah, that might be its own podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So then there is kinky. And kinky is whatever is taboo to you. This one, it can be physical or psychological. Again, the anticipation, teasing, drawing things out.
Well,
or
it's the excitement for most kinky. It's
the lead up.
The touching an edge that's a little uncomfortable, and that's arousing to them. A little bit of shock and like, hey, that's fun.
Yeah. And I think, there is kind of a misconception about kinky, and kinky is oftentimes coupled in with BDSM.
Yes.
Which there's a lot of negative connotations about that realm too. that it's just people that like, dom sub want to, just want to beat somebody, and that's not it at all.
Well, yeah, and that definition of whatever is taboo to you is so important because we're talking about people that might think, and it's okay. I mean, maybe I said that a little harshly. People who are very comfortable with missionary, and maybe doggy is like risque for them, and so that might be a little taboo. And so it doesn't have to be this extreme ropes, whips, ties, tying people up, all kinds of things. It can be much more subtle.
Yeah. So
a shapeshifter is, they can be all of it all the time, anytime. They crave it all. The energetic, the sensual, the sexual, the kinky, they just like all of that, and they can do all of it pretty well. And that's a benefit. I mean, another part that we haven't talked about with erotic blueprints is the fact that they all have their own shadows. And what that means is things that like completely halt arousal altogether. And so the shapeshifter, it can do all well, but the shadow it has is oftentimes if their partner is high in one, they'll meet them in that all the time. So if they're high energetic, the shapeshifter will meet them in energetic often, and that makes them left dissatisfied because they don't get the itch of anything else that they desire. It also, they feel reduced in their creativity when it comes to sexuality because they're not using all of those different things.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to pull them up and talk about how that might be showing up, so that way you can kind of be like, well, I'm not sure which one I am, but maybe you'll recognize the shadow, and then you can be like, oh, that's making sense, that's resonating to me, so here's how I can actually embrace that and enjoy it rather than have the shadow to it. So an energetics shadow, their natural sensitivity can go haywire into hypersensitivity. So being approached too quickly, too much closeness can cause you to kind of short circuit, so to speak, and go into overwhelm and then just lose connection to your body, which we keep talking about how it's important to be in your body.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to the sensual shadow as well. So you can be blocked from your arousal, or have it just completely shut off if something in your element is off. So in the environment, if the music is wrong, your partner might have, some body odor. Maybe you guys, they came home after working out and you're like, woo, look at them because those pheromones. But then then they start to smell a little funky. I don't know. Or it's taking too long, or your partner's touch is just not the right speed or depth or anything like that. You can get caught up in your head. Now, the sexual shadow, it's they can get annoyed or bored by foreplay. Or partner's need for something that seems too complex. If there isn't orgasm, erection, wetness, or anything like that, part of the erotic experience, then it was a fail to them. It's interesting.
Yes.
For sexual women, shame may be your shadow. Maybe you've been made to feel bad or wrong for having a high sex drive.
Yes.
Also, the term slut shamed can be thrown around as well. And then you took on that belief, and that is not true.
Yeah, which goes right into the kinky, because the shadow for kinky is shame. Because you're touching the taboo, which can overlap with sparking some shame inside of it.
Judgment of self. also you make yourself out to be, that you're wrong for your desires or thinking something is wrong with you. And so if that resonates, then
yeah, I'll be vulnerable here. There are times that, either a conversation or something, a rousing conversation, as soon as you're done being aroused, there's this little bit of like, there can be a flood of that, like, oh wow, I don't know if I really liked that. I don't know that I really liked that I thought about that or something like that. Yeah. And that's that kinky shame coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for the shapeshifter, so, being that they kind of encompass it all, they might have been told they're too much. They might have heard this from, past relationships, constantly having to shift into what others want instead of tapping in and really honoring what you would like in the moment as well, since they are so adaptable. But that can also be like, well, I'm not getting what I want. And so that can be another side of it too.
Yeah. So what do we do with this knowledge at this point, right? We've kind of given an overview. Well, if you look up Erotic Blueprint, you can go online. There's a free quiz. It gives some information. There's, I think it was $17.
It was like $17.
A more comprehensive quiz that can give you more information. Idealistically, you'd want to know about yourself. And if you're partnered, you'd want your partner to kind of take it as well. And then you can communicate and talk about it.
Yeah. What's nice about the paid one is it gives you the percentages and actually gives you all of like how they stack up in order, whereas the free one just gives you what your main one is, which is still great and beneficial. But if you and your partner both take the paid one, then you get to see where you kind of overlap, Definitely. And that's where you're going to start. You're not going to start. You're like, okay, I'm an energetic, you're a sexual. Well, now what? Well, you have to go down the line and figure out where your overlap is. And then you can start to connect and then expand from there.
Yes, definitely. And we're not here trying to sell the paid version, but at the same time, like, it's $17 per person to improve your sex life. Come on, that's many people would agree upon that.
Because we took the free one in December when we found out about it. We were literally sitting there watching it and we're like, what? We went straight.
Oh, we paused that.
Yeah, we went straight to the website. We took the free one. We're like, okay, cool. And we sat on that for a couple of months. And then I think it's when I started my coaching certification, I decided to go ahead and take the paid one because I wanted a deeper look into it, and just to get more familiar with it too. So it is beneficial to have both, but dip your toe in the water, ease into it.
Definitely. Well, and it also kind of depends where you're at in the stage of sexuality, because there's different stages. You could be resting and just kind of sitting where you're at, and that's okay. You could be curious, you could be adventurous, these different stages. And we were definitely at the time more of a curious and adventurous stage. And so we were looking into a lot more. We were putting a lot more movement and energy into seeing what was out there. Yeah. And that was probably mostly sparked by you enrolling into sex coaching, but there's probably some other reasons.
Yeah.
I guess Rona was, our daughter was at the age where, she was older and
starting to sleep through the night a little bit more, and we're having more time to connect. Yeah. So also kind of take a look at where you're at with yourself, with your relationship, and also you can take the Erotic Blueprint as a single person. You don't, this is not reliant upon being partnered. It's important to know yourself and how you can show up for yourself. With yourself.
Ooh, I like this.
With your self-pleasure practice, maybe I'm not saying like you've been doing it wrong, but there might be ways that
maybe
you
you've been doing it wrong.
No. But there's different ways that you can enhance your own experience. You know, again, if you're like, oh yeah, I am a person that's like very particular about my sheets. Okay, I'm a sensual. What else can I do to enhance my
Yes.
experience with myself? I am going to take a nice relaxing bath with, you know, good smelling bubble bath and candles and have the music on that I like and just woo yourself, you know, like just really
Yes.
enjoy. Or maybe you want to start, you know, bringing in some different textured elements, you know, feathers and different things like that. So you can 100% do this for yourself. You don't have to make it about your partner.
Yeah, and a lot of times I talk about how kids, you know, as kids we play.
Mm-hmm.
We play with toys, we go outside and play, we play with friends.
Mm-hmm.
As adults we still play, it just happens to be more, you know, sensual or sometimes with our genitalia. But, you know, play the way you want to be, that you want to play. You just can't.
I can't know. That's so sorry. You're on a good roll there.
Just bring them down.
Nope, you're doing great. Keep going.
Keep going. Okay. I heard that before. So, you know, now I'm losing my train of thought. And it is important. It's quality of life. It's there is joy in play.
Yeah.
And so, why would you want to play some game that you absolutely hate all the time? Like let's pick the thing you like and play in that way as well.
Yeah.
And with our partners, you know, we say let's play Monopoly one night and then play something else another night.
Exactly. Have fun with it. It's meant to be enjoyed and experimental, you know, like try new things. Communicate about it, get consent, but yeah, explore.
Well, and this goes kind of like our conversation today builds off of last episode and scheduled versus spontaneous. I mean, scheduled allows for more intentionality and more ability to play with these ideas and to meet our partners in different places. You know, for me, I can talk about many of the things that I've learned through this. So we haven't actually said what ours are, but so I'm predominantly, you know, my highest is sexual, and then sensual, kinky, somewhere around there, is next. So, and you are?
I'm kinky is my primary, and then energetic, sensual are tied for second. Yeah.
And so to meet like energetic or sexual, like we've played with that, and I've learned all kinds of ways to, you know, massage and use different things to tease and whatnot, and not a sexual way, because as a sexual, I have to put that aside. I have to take that and put that almost out of my mind so that I can engage in the sensual and the energetic, you know, if that's, you know, feathers or, you know, anything to rub on your body that's a different sensation, because it builds the anticipation, which is the energetic. It's sensual. You know, we usually turn the lights down low. We turn on music. We get everything set up. And so it's very intentional. And so
really helps me to get out of my head and into my body to enjoy the sensations and everything that is building and that I'm feeling. So then that way I am, you know, more prepared and ready.
Yeah. And so like
to enjoy
some, you know, we could kind of conclude, and this isn't always the case, but a more scheduled type of intimate interaction allows us to speak to more of your blueprint. Yeah. Whereas the spontaneous is right up my alley of the sexual. You know, it's just hot and heavy and right to the point type of thing.
Yeah.
And so again, the benefits of
scheduled versus spontaneous.
Yeah, doing both.
Yeah. Yeah. So if any of this resonated with you, we talked a lot about how before we knew about this, you would show up in ways like smacking my ass and like thinking that's going to do it for me. But really it's for you because you're like, oh gosh, you're just so like in the moment and you see me, you're attracted, which is awesome. But I'm like, does nothing for me. Like,
so this is for you, not for me.
For you. Yeah. But yeah, so if you noticed anything in these resonates with you, again, we will post both the 5 love languages and the Erotic Blueprint quiz links in the show notes so you can go explore that.
Yes.
And as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to find me on Instagram, shoot me a message, ask me your questions. That's what I'm here for, what we're here for.
Definitely.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.